Now at 6, local health officials are keeping a close eye on the ongoing measles outbreak. Tonight, we're digging into how much it's costing you, the taxpayer.
And a man accused of luring an underage Beaverton teenager on the internet gets arrested miles away. Tonight, we hear how detectives are working to find even more victims.
But first, a big decision following accusations of sexual harassment in the Oregon State Legislature. The big payout awarded in a settlement, plus reaction to the ruling.
First, live, local. The 6 o'clock news starts now on Fox 12 Oregon.
Good evening, I'm Nora Hart.
And I'm Pete Ferryman. Welcome to the 6 o'clock news. First at 6, the Oregon State Legislature will pay a total of more than $1 million to 8 victims of sexual harassment and hostile workplace behavior after reaching a settlement with the Oregon Bureau of Labor and Industries, or BOLI.
In exchange, the victims are going to drop any future lawsuits against the legislature. The settlement comes after a BOLI investigation found substantial evidence of sexual harassment at the Capitol and says the legislature did not take appropriate action to stop it. This all started back in November of 2017, when Senator Sarah Gelser detailed accounts of alleged harassment and touching by Senator Jeff Cruz spanning from 2011 to 2017. Senator Jeff Cruz resigned in February of 2018 after an independent investigation found that he had a long-standing pattern of harassing women at the Capitol. Then BOLI launched an investigation last summer, saying interns and staffers filed complaints about sexual harassment and a hostile work environment at the Capitol, some of them going back several years. But legislators failed to quickly act on that. Now this settlement resolves those complaints. The legislature will pay $1.1 million to 8 people who were not elected officials. The largest damage award is $415,000. The legislature will also pay Senator Sarah Gelser more than $26,000 for her attorney's fees and other expenses, which were the only damages she sought. In exchange, those involved have agreed to drop their other lawsuits against the legislature, including one filed by 2 former interns last month. The legislature has also agreed not to retaliate or discriminate against anyone involved. In addition, the legislature will pay $200,000 to cover BOLI's outside attorney fees. Tonight, we've received a statement from the lawyer of those 2 interns who filed a lawsuit last month. In part, it says, "It has taken the courage of all of the women who have chosen to not remain silent and to be candid with the press in order to shed a bright light on what has been happening to them at our Capitol. It is because of their collective courage that change can and hopefully will occur in Oregon." It goes on to say they hope that by coming forward, their experience will foster a new environment where the integrity and safety of women are taken seriously and where they're offered support when harassment occurs. Now, House Speaker Tina Kotek and Senate President Peter Courtney released a joint statement saying in part, "On behalf of the Oregon legislature, we sincerely apologize to the women who suffered harm during their time in the Capitol. Everyone working in or visiting the state capitol deserves to feel safe and respected. We remain committed to improving the Capitol's workplace culture and are working hard to implement that change during the ongoing legislative session, following the recommendations of the Oregon Law Commission." We spoke with Senator Sarah Gelser by phone just a short time ago, and here's what she had to say about the settlement.
I'm pleased that it's been released and that it's wrapped up, but it's not over. I mean, the work that we have to do is not over. Writing a check, having a settlement, passing some policies, none of those things will fix the problem that we have here. And that is that we need to change our culture. We need to empower individuals when they experience harassment, and we need to make it clear that harassment is not tolerated.
As a result of the BOLI investigation and the settlement, the legislature will also work to improve the Capitol culture and implement workplace harassment training.
This all comes as Oregon Senate President Peter Courtney announced that he's taking a medical leave of absence from the legislature. He'll be out for 10 days. He did not go into further details about any medical issues, but did say that his leave was under the advice of his doctors. Meanwhile, Senate President Pro Tem Lori Monez Anderson will manage the daily operations.
Okay, let's get to your weather now. We're tracking freezing temperatures tonight. Here is a live look over the West Hills. And look at that beautiful sunset over downtown Portland from our Portland Shriners Hospital camera. Now, despite the sun we've been seeing, there is a chance of some snow in the forecast.
Let's check in with meteorologist Ann Capilongo now for the very latest on that.
Yes, we've been talking about it all day today, and as we go through the evening hours tonight, mainly after midnight, we'll start to see the rain and potentially a little bit of snow move up from the south here. Overnight hours into the start of the day tomorrow morning. It'll mainly just be flurries in the air likely, potentially dusting up to about a ½ inch by around 10 a.m. But then once we go through the afternoon, notice temperatures warm up. Tomorrow during those afternoon hours, we'll be back up into the mid and upper 30s for most spots. So we'll see melting as we go through the day in roadways by tomorrow afternoon. Likely just wet there, but there'll still be some flurries in the air. And as we go through the afternoon, keep in mind the commute will likely be good. We could see some snow up in the West Hills, of course, higher elevations, looking at potentially a little more accumulation through the afternoon hours there. But most of us will get by, no problems tomorrow morning likely. Here's what it looks like on the radar picture. Cloud cover increasing through the Portland metro area, and then if you look further south, we've got just some light showers closer down towards places like Salem, Corvallis, and down towards Eugene as well. Right now, we're still in the mid-30s here for Portland, much colder east of the Cascades. We're back into the 20s as we head into your Tuesday night. We'll take a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll talk about how long the rain and snow will last for. It's all coming up.
All right, thank you so much. You know, the cold weather that we've been talking about and experiencing has a lot of people begging the question, could spring get here soon enough?
I know we've all been saying that. Tonight, Portland road crews are gearing up for another bout with Mother Nature. Fox 12's John Hendricks is live tonight in Southwest Portland with the weather fatigue we're all feeling. Hey, John.
Well, Pete and Nora, a lot of folks we spoke with today say they'd sure like to see 70s and sunny, but those may be just dreams for now with the hint of snow in the forecast. Transportation crews were out today putting down some of that de-icer. They're getting ready for another taste of winter. From the viewpoint at Pittock Mansion, you sure can feel the grip Old Man Winter has on the northwest. A wind with teeth and a stiff bite greeting anyone who went outside today.
A little cold.
Cesar Cabrera was one of them, leaving sunny San Diego to check out and explore the Rose City.
Every person that we've talked to so far, they're saying this is really good compared to how it's been, and they said the same thing. They're expecting a little bit more snow.
It's a little colder than they thought it would be, but they will be out enjoying it nonetheless. Further down on Burnside, another sign of winter. Fresh de-icer strips streak across the pavement, ready for tomorrow morning. For those of us trying to process the idea of maybe more snowflakes in the morning, the winter fatigue is surely setting in. On Twitter today, you let me know what you thought, and have you had enough? Jewel in Rib City simply says, ready for summer, I hate being cold. Becky Hatfield, with maybe the one we can most relate to, says she doesn't mind the Oregon cold, it's the east wind that cuts to the core. Perhaps our favorite, from Preston Hartman, keeping it to the point. Yep, and a whole slew of sun emojis and a prayer thrown in there at the end. Back at Pittock, they're going to enjoy the view for now, staying positive and rolling with the winter punches because Portland does look pretty good in white.
Definitely had to put on a lot of jackets, so I wasn't expecting anything like this.
Now, PBOT tells us they're going to be watching those higher elevations into this evening and early morning hours. They are asking folks that if your road is iced up or has any issues, that you simply just delay your travel for a little bit until tomorrow midday. Reporting live tonight, John Hendricks, Fox 12 Oregon.
Well, because of the possibility of snow, Good Day Oregon will start a ½ hour early tomorrow at 4 a.m. to make sure you know what to expect with your morning commute. Tony and Andy will be here to have you covered with traffic and weather. A Colorado man is in jail charged with luring a Beaverton teenager who he met online. Investigators say they were able to track down Jason Surprise thanks to a 14-year-old girl who came forward when she says she realized their conversation could be dangerous.
And now a detective involved in the case tells Fox 12 that he knows there are more victims out there. Fox 12's Kelsey Watts is tracking this for us. She's live tonight with what we're learning. Kelsey?
Well, Nora, Beaverton Police Detective Chad Opitz tells me he's been able to track down at least one additional victim, maybe even two, both tied to this same suspect as well, who is already a convicted sex offender. This is the newest mugshot for Jason Surprise, a 47-year-old from Fort Collins, Colorado, who is back in jail once again. Police say for months he was chatting with a 14-year-old girl from Beaverton through a texting app. Investigators say those conversations became extremely graphic, and the girl was concerned he may come visit or could even harm her family.
The girl came forward to a friend and then the friends encouraged her, like, hey, you need to tell somebody.
Police believe Surprise wanted to have sex with the girl, and he was indicted by a grand jury on charges of luring a minor and using a child in display of sexually explicit conduct. As it turns out, he's already a sex offender, convicted in 2013 and 2016 for sexual exploitation of a child.
He was very manipulative in how he treated his victims.
Detective Chad Opitz says Surprise would say he had a certain medical condition and may not have long to live, leaving his victims to feel sorry for him. But Detective Opitz says none of it was true.
But that was just him setting the hook. That was his way of setting the hook and then ultimately getting to what he wanted.
Police are thankful this 14-year-old girl came forward, because if she hadn't, they say Surprise wouldn't have been on their radar. And thanks to her, they've already tracked down one, maybe two other victims. So parents, here are some things to teach your own kids about the internet and social media apps. Don't talk to people you don't know. Don't share personal information. And if something doesn't seem right, tell someone.
I just really want kids to be careful.
And Detective Opitz is actually in Sacramento right now teaching in a sex trafficking conference. But he was in Colorado recently helping Fort Collins police when they arrested Jason Surprise. Through a search warrant, they found evidence in his home and seized that. And he is now in jail awaiting extradition to face a judge back here in Oregon. Live in Beaverton tonight, Kelsey Watts, Fox 12 Oregon.
6 o'clock news is just getting started.
The U.S. Senate holds a hearing highlighting the importance of vaccines. We hear from an 18-year-old who made national headlines after getting vaccinated despite his mother's wishes.
And we're crunching down the numbers on just how much it's costing state and local agencies to fight the ongoing measles outbreak. Plus,
well, if you're a hockey fan, you've heard his booming voice at Winterhawks games. But did you know that his voice reaches beyond the hockey rink? Still ahead, we're going to hear about his other job, which just might surprise you. In Washington, D.C. today, the U.S. Senate held a hearing about the importance of vaccines.
And that's in light of the measles outbreak here in the Pacific Northwest. Senator Patty Murray of Washington led this morning's hearing, which included testimony from medical experts and patients. Ethan Lindenberger also testified. He's the Ohio teenager whose story went viral last month after he decided to get vaccinated for his 18th birthday against his mother's wishes. He spoke about the spread of misinformation at today's hearing.
For certain individuals and organizations that spread this misinformation, they instill fear into the public for their own gain selfishly, and do so knowing that their information is incorrect. For my mother, her love, affection, and care as a parent was used to push an agenda to create a false distress. And these sources which spread misinformation should be the primary concern of the American people.
And this comes as a new study provides more evidence against the claims that vaccines cause autism. Researchers followed 650,000 children in Denmark for more than a decade. They found that the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine did not increase the risk of autism and did not trigger autism in children who are at risk because of genetic and other factors. Turning to our weather now as we take a live look outside. Look at that, a little bit of a glow out there after a very beautiful day.
Yeah, it's like an alpenglow, but we don't have a mountain that we're looking at right there. It's illuminating our transmission towers. Meteorologist Ann Campolongo joins us now with a look at the forecast. And let's get right to it. I guess we're going to talk about the cold weather, but
yes,
you do have to address this potential for snow.
Yes, still
I know people are talking about it. Yeah.
In tomorrow morning mainly. After midnight or so is when we could see some flurries start. Not looking at major accumulations by any means.
Okay.
So upwards of maybe half an inch potentially, but I think most people won't have an issue going to work, going to school tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So we'll see some flurries in the air through the afternoon. It was pretty out at the coastline today, though. A cloud cover increased throughout the second half of the day today, but it's still pretty chilly across the board. Temperatures still well below average for this time of year. And as we go through the day tomorrow, I think we'll see more cloud cover sticking around as we head through the day on your Wednesday. Temperatures this morning, though, very chilly. We are back into the mid-20s for downtown Portland, 22 in Scappoose earlier today, right around 20 in Hillsborough. So cold air still with us. Cloud cover starting to increase. You'll see the rain down to our south, just to the south of Salem here. That's all moving up through the Portland area, so that's going to head our way mainly after midnight tonight. And again, we'll see some flurries as we start off the day tomorrow morning. So this is what it looks like as far as one model goes. Rain and snow forecast for you. This around 8 o'clock tonight. Notice we're still dry from Vancouver down through Portland, even through Salem. Just looking at cloud cover this evening. Overnight tonight, and when you're waking up tomorrow morning, that's when the rain and the snow will get here. But notice it's pretty spotty in activity. I think some people will wake up and you'll see some snowflakes in the air, but other people just starting off the day with mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures climb throughout the afternoon. Notice we're already into the upper 30s by around midday or so tomorrow, but we will keep the precip coming down as we go through the day. It will not stick to the ground, though. Temperatures will be too warm. So you'll see some snow flurries flying around throughout the afternoon tomorrow. And then by tomorrow evening, most of that pushes off to the east. So notice we've got just some light snow showers there across the mountains and out through the gorge, but we're dry west of the Cascades. So we dry out by Wednesday evening. Temperatures by Wednesday night back into the mid-30s or so, so not quite as cold. And then by Thursday morning, this around 7 a.m., we could see the potential for a few more mixed showers as we start off Thursday morning. And then by Thursday afternoon, again, temperatures climb back up into the upper 30s, low 40s. So we'll see kind of this consistent mixed shower during the morning hours as we go through the next couple of days. So bus stop forecast looks like this, right around that freezing mark tomorrow morning with those flurries. And then light flurries, maybe a few light snow showers linger through the afternoon, but no stickage as temperatures climb into the upper 30s by the second half of the day tomorrow. So tonight, temperatures west of the Cascades, we hover right around that freezing mark, and then we're back to the 20s, low 20s, that is east of the Cascades. Again, that snow will spread up through from the south to the north as we head through the overnight hours tonight. So Wednesday looks like this, right around that freezing mark to start off the day. Anywhere from a few flurries, maybe a dusting in some spots, up to ½ an inch, but most of us get by tomorrow morning and we're good to go. Roadways stay wet, though. Flurries stick around through the afternoon hours tomorrow. Highs only top out in the upper 30s, and then we're dry by tomorrow night. So here's your 7-day forecast. Mixed showers in the forecast for Thursday and Friday morning. Temperatures through the end of the work week here will be in the low 40s. Tomorrow, likely the coldest day of the next 7. The weekend looking not too bad. We're dry and milder by both Saturday and Sunday. Rain showers, though, back in the forecast by the first part of next week.
Okay. Okay, Ann, thank you. Meanwhile, search and rescue teams are still looking for any victims of this weekend's deadly tornadoes in Alabama. So far, at least 23 people were killed and more than 90 injured when the tornadoes ripped through portions of Alabama and Georgia, leaving widespread devastation behind. The Lee County coroner confirms several members of one family are among the victims. At least 3 children, ages 6, 9, and 10, were killed.
Still to come tonight, disturbing reports of invasion of privacy on the Portland State University campus.
The suspicious behavior that's increasing the presence of campus police.
And a reminder that you can add Fox 12 to your Amazon Alexa flash briefing. Get local news and weather updates voiced by your Fox 12 team. Just search for Fox 12 in your flash briefing settings. Head to kptv.com/Alexa for help.
You're watching the 6 o'clock news. First, live, local.
This Sunday, will spring forward, gaining more daylight as spring approaches.
But Oregon lawmakers are considering a bill that would do away with daylight saving time altogether. Fox 12's Marja Martinez has more on what it could mean for you.
If it passes, we would stay on daylight saving time year-round, and that would mean that Oregonians would no longer have to move the hands of the clock in spring or in fall.
SB 320 is actually one of 3 similar bills being considered during this legislative session. Essentially, those bills argue that Oregonians should be able to vote on whether to switch between standard time and daylight saving time. Many people we spoke with are excited about the bill.
Do you feel like when you do have to lose an hour of sleep, you end up just kind of lethargic in the next couple days?
Yes, it does, especially my kids. It ruins their whole sleep schedule.
Oregon would not be the first state to approve such a change. Arizona does not currently observe daylight saving time, and Washington lawmakers are also making a push to create time consistency. According to Washington State Bill 5139, quote, research has shown that changing to and from daylight saving time twice per year has negative impacts on public health, increases traffic accidents and crime, disrupts agriculture scheduling, and hinders economic growth. The bill references scientific studies that have connected health issues with the change of time, including a greater risk of heart attacks and an uptick in workplace injuries, as well as increased suicide rates. Still, not everyone is sold on the idea.
I like it the way it is. We get a little extra daylight during the summer and a little less in the wintertime.
The next scheduled hearing for lawmakers to discuss possible issues with the bill is scheduled for the morning of March 12th, and it is open to the public.
If passed, SB 320 would go into effect at 2 o'clock in the morning on November 7th of 2021. Marja Martinez, Fox 12 Oregon.
Coming up next, people in one Southwest Portland neighborhood heard an unusual loud rumble this morning.
But it was what they saw outside their windows that was even stranger. What led up to water gushing down and a landslide making a huge mess.
You're watching the 6 o'clock news. First, live, local.
It's unbelievable. It was something else. I mean, the sound alone was frightening.
Several people in Southwest Portland say they were shaken by the rumble of a landslide.
It came just hours after a water main break in their neighborhood, and it left them without power. Fox 12's Tyler Dumont reports.
Janet Salvador's apartment is on the side of a steep hill. She's used to the nearby trees, but a sudden stream of water, that was unusual.
I knew something was wrong at 10 o'clock Sunday night. because my toilet wouldn't flush. And I thought, this is weird. And then I didn't come outside because it's still cold. But in the morning, I heard water. I'm going, what is that sound? What is that sound? And turned out it's a water main break.
Crews with the Portland Water Bureau say they, too, noticed an unusual water draw in the area and on Monday confirmed the break on Southwest Barber Boulevard. By that afternoon, when she got home, Salvador says what had earlier been just a small waterfall down the nearby embankment suddenly turned to this.
I got out of the car and all of a sudden I heard this like clicking and all these trees starting to like move, and I'm going, what is that sound?
It was a landslide, a massive, muddy mess, and trees toppling over from their roots.
These trees hit each other and they went down like toothpicks. Bum, 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 bum.
It slid. It was about a 25, 30-foot wall of mud and trees combined.
Justin Hartman lives down below and saw the slide coming right for him.
Definitely, you know, something very crazy and unique. Not something you see in your everyday life.
Tuesday morning, Water Bureau crews continued to fix the water woes that have included a couple of apartment buildings having no water. Temporary lines were in the works to get their water back on, but the Bureau says a permanent repair to the main may take time. And while water has since also stopped rushing down the hill, those who live in the nearby apartment units say it's unsettling, and they're keeping a close eye. Did you get any sleep last night?
I did finally, but I was checking this building's foundation, making sure.
Tyler Dumont, Fox 12 Oregon.
And the Water Bureau used a temporary line to turn the water back on this afternoon. Officials say they're working with ODOT and the Bureau's own engineers to try to determine the best approach to make repairs. Geotech engineers have not yet connected the main break and the landslide.
Speaking of slides, this one still has a section of Highway 101 closed in southern Oregon. ODOT says the slide moved about 10 feet in the last 24 hours, but progress is being made. They say one lane could be open by Thursday or Friday. Meantime, they do stress that conditions are changing, so it's not guaranteed. The area north of Brookings has been plagued by landslides, but the ground started shifting dramatically again last week.
All right, let's get back over to Ann now for the latest on the forecast.
Right, let's talk about some other areas across the area here. As you go a little bit further south down into the Central Valley, we'll likely see just mainly some flurries as we go throughout the day today. Similar to up here in Portland, really no accumulation expected as we go through the afternoon hours tomorrow, especially as those temperatures warm. And by the afternoon, we're looking at fairly good driving conditions, especially for the commute home. Out towards the gorge, a little bit more in the way of snowfall there, anywhere between about 2 to 4 inches likely as we go through the afternoon hours tomorrow. Roads will be covered, snow covered that is, in the morning hours, but they should be a little bit better by the afternoon. And then out along the coastline, roadways will just be mainly wet. We're looking at mostly just rain showers there for the coast as we go through the day tomorrow. Maybe a little bit of light snow in the coastal mountains there, but as far as the roadways go out along the coastline, looking good in that area. So we'll see some flurries as we go throughout the day tomorrow. Temperatures right now, though, we're dry and still chilly out there. 36 in Portland, right at that freezing mark in Troutdale. We're at 30 in Happy Valley and upper 30s in Hillsborough and Beaverton. So we'll take a look at your complete 7-day forecast. We'll time out the rain and snow chances for you for the commute tomorrow morning. That's all coming up.
All right, Ann, thank you. As the measles outbreak continues, Fox 12's Marcia Martinez did some digging into the cost of the outbreak for taxpayers.
She joins us live with the very latest numbers. Marcia?
Well, the first case was confirmed on January 4th. That's about 2 months ago, but it wasn't until January 15th that Clark County Public Health activated its incident command, and it's on that date that officials there say they began to pay for this outbreak. Now, according to public health officials, at last check, the agency has spent more than $600,000 investigating and controlling the spread of measles. I'm told the agency's annual fund balance policy includes $400,000 for emergency incident response, but now this latest figure exceeds that total, and they'll have to pull money from other funds to pay for the emergency response. In addition to more than $500,000 that the county has spent, the Washington Department of Health says it has contributed $752,000 to managing the outbreak. DOH officials say the bulk of that money has been used to cover labor expenses. They say the agency does not have an emergency fund set aside specifically for outbreaks, but the CDC is helping with some of the costs. Officials tell me the number of confirmed cases is now up to 70, with 2 suspected cases. In addition to that, there's also one new measles exposure site, Peace Health Southwest Medical Center in Vancouver. That just highlights the importance of calling your provider before visiting the clinic if you suspect you or a family member may have the measles, or so you don't expose others. Today, Fox 12 spoke with the father of a 5-year-old who says his son developed a rash. Instead of taking him to the ER, he used OHSU's virtual urgent care service.
Son had a rash on his chest and on some of his arms. So we were worried that maybe it was measles. So we did a video conference. I held the phone up so that the nurse could see my son's chest and rash. And they very quickly determined that it was not measles.
Although it turned out to be a false alarm, OHSU officials, they basically say that the family did the right thing. They handled the scary situation in the way that is recommended, and they hope other families follow their lead. Virtual doctor visits are becoming more common for many clinics as well as healthcare providers. Reporting tonight, Marja Martinez, Fox 12 Oregon.
Portland State University is warning students about some recent suspicious behavior on campus.
In the past 2 months, the campus public safety office says there have been several reports of someone filming people on campus, including in bathroom stalls. Fox 12's Audrey Wheel has more.
I mean, it's crazy.
Pretty gross.
It's scary. A consensus on campus that the latest information from the PSU Public Safety Office is disturbing, to say the least.
I'm speechless. I'm completely speechless.
Many of the students we spoke to are hearing for the first time what's gone on at PSU the last 2 months, a series of suspicious and invasive behaviors. According to PSU, the first one, which campus officers most recently found out about, happened January 26th at the Smith Center. A man used his phone to film someone in a gender-neutral bathroom. Then on February 1st, at the Academic Student Recreation Center, a man used his phone to film over a bathroom stall in the women's room. February 2nd, at Ondine Residence Hall, a man was watching people through the bathroom stall. February 5th, at the Smith Center, someone held a phone under the bathroom stall. And on February 15th, a man filmed someone as they walked through Kramer Hall. To the students here who go in and out of these buildings, live in this residence hall, and use the bathrooms every day, it's alarming.
I use those restrooms and other students use their restrooms.
I feel like a bathroom's like one of the only safe places we have, and especially as women, and then for that privacy to be invaded, it's pretty disturbing.
Now the campus safety office is asking everyone to be aware of their surroundings.
So I'm just going to be more vigilant about who's in the building, who really goes there, and who has access or who doesn't have access.
And to report anything strange or unsafe. Audrey Wheel, Fox 12 Oregon.
PSU has not said yet if they think all of the cases are connected. However, it released a statement saying they've increased their campus police presence.
Oregon State University is looking into 2 similar cases. Both happened in campus bathrooms. The most recent report was on February 26th in a restroom at the Memorial Union. A university spokesperson says it's looking into remodeling the restrooms to improve privacy. A former Oregon State University student pleaded guilty to threatening a campus shooting. Christopher Strahan was sentenced to time served and 3 years supervised release. Last February, OSU Public Safety was notified of Twitter posts threatening a shooting at the campus. Detectives linked that account to Strahan. Investigators say that he was already known to them because he was convicted of making similar threats to OSU in the past. As part of his plea, the 33-year-old is not allowed to enter the OSU campus or the Lynn Benton Community College campus. From starting lineups to game-winning goals, the job of being a hockey public address announcer is to keep the intensity up and inform the fans at the same time.
Fox 12's Nick Krupke takes us behind the mic with a man who has a pretty cool night job with the Winterhawks.
Sean Norris has been the in-arena voice of the Portland Winterhawks for the past decade. The pipes, the bearded wonder, ratcheting up the roar of the crowd and lending a helpful ear during his day job.
It is the closest to like that Cinderella glass slipper feeling I think that I've ever had in my life.
Feels right, sounds right.
Number 71, Ross.
Sean Norris is just a dude riding that energy wave in a packed house.
Head coach of your Portland Winterhawks is Mike Johnston.
Kind of just like this vessel for really positive, healthy emotions kind of coming out of people, and I get to facilitate that in some small way, so it's really great.
The 44-year-old has a little bit of showmanship in his delivery.
Let's play hockey!
Announcers like Roddy on The Price is Right, you know, when he would announce their name, you know, and come on down.
Portland on the power play!
That classic sound is just, I mean, there's a specific like tone of voice and everything that at times I kind of try and reproduce that a little bit.
Washington County Dispatch.
A timeless delivery in its other shift work too.
Do you need me to send someone out there right now?
Definitely come out of there at the end of the day feeling like I've done my best to help people get through what they're going through, which a lot of times is the toughest things that they will remember for the rest of their lives.
911, do you need police, fire, or medical?
By day, Sean is a 911 dispatcher for Washington County.
We're going to get someone right out to you there.
Kind of these two very different sides of my life, but at the same time, they're both intense and kind of mentally challenging and very fast-paced. And if I make a mistake here, it literally is just a mistake. Whereas at my other job, if I make a mistake, it could mean something more than that.
Meaningful voice to thousands, and just one in a time of need.
Oh, absolutely. That is scary. I understand.
I get to do these things that I love and that I feel like contribute in a way that are meaningful to me and maybe meaningful to other people. I go to bed at night, every night, feeling like I am the luckiest person who ever lived.
The Winterhawks have just 2 more home games until the start of the WHL playoffs. And no, that isn't a playoff beard. That's just Sean's look. He loves it. Congrats to he and his wife are also expecting their first baby together. In studio, Nick Krupke, Fox 12 Oregon.
Good stuff. Well, coming up next on the 6 o'clock news, a new Oregon bill is looking to help families cover treatment costs of a common birth defect, hearing loss.
Our Fox 12 investigators introduce you to children who are already benefiting from the change.
Plus, the Rose Festival's Royal Court is starting to take shape. Which high school students were selected today? A new year means new laws in Oregon, and one of those laws that recently took effect forces insurance companies to cover hearing loss treatment, including hearing aids and implants for children who are deaf.
Fox 12's Haley Rush spoke with a family that's already benefiting from the new law.
Hearing loss is the most common birth defect, according to the Oregon Health Authority, affecting every 3 kids out of 1,000. And Gavin, who you see right there, was part of that statistic, born with moderate hearing loss. Within a year, he practically lost his hearing altogether, but that's far from where this 12-year-old's story ends. Take a look.
Gavin, can you tell me open?
No, this isn't just any 13-month-old learning to talk.
Can you say open? That's right.
This is a 13-month-old with severe hearing loss learning to do it.
Gavin was born, and it wasn't very long afterwards that I got this little card that said your baby didn't pass the hearing screening.
Gavin's mom, Heather, can remember those overwhelming first few weeks.
For me, at first, it was very sad. It was a hard thing to overcome, and moments I think really was just the uncertainty of it all. And was he going to be okay? How was he going to live in a hearing world?
But thanks to technology, specifically cochlear implants, Gavin, now 12, never missed a beat when it comes to hearing.
It's raining outside. Gavin, can you say rain, rain, go away?
And speaking.
Rain, rain, go away.
I really like them because I can listen to my TV shows and talk with my friends and ride on my bike and hear the wind.
But Gavin's mom says getting here hasn't always been easy, specifically when it comes to dealing with insurance companies.
They kept telling me things like, you know, it's experimental, like we don't know if it's gonna work, if it really is gonna benefit Gavin. And I remember saying, excuse me, do you like your 2 ears?
And it's not just the implant, but the outer gear that goes with it, something Heather says needs to be replaced regularly.
Just because technology always changes, right? You know, it's always evolving.
That's why Heather says it was a no-brainer to support last year's House Bill 4104.
I really wanted to advocate for him, and because he's worth fighting for.
The bill forces insurance companies to cover hearing loss treatments for kids who are deaf, including devices like implants and everything that goes with it.
Basically, it makes the insurance companies pay for upgrades. They can no longer tell me that we're just not going to pay to upgrade him.
Gavin is already benefiting from the law change.
This is the speaker, so the sound comes here.
Receiving his latest upgrade without any coverage fights.
Yeah, I like music.
Something Gavin's mom says will only help him continue to flourish.
He's listening and talking himself. I mean, he's going to be out going to college and doing all those things on his own.
Just to get a perspective on how much this technology costs, Heather says her insurance company was billed around $70,000 for his first implant and billed around $80,000 for his second. An upgrade can cost around $16,000. Heather says over the years she has fought her insurance company successfully, so it's not necessarily money she's been out of, but time. Reporting in studio, Haley Rush, Fox 12 Oregon.
Well, the Portland Rose Festival court added 2 new princesses today.
The 2019 Rose Festival Princess for Metro West is Tori Lopez.
That is Tori Lopez, a senior from Tigard High School representing Metro West. She plans to major in pre-med at George Fox so she can pursue a career in plastic surgery. Tori's favorite Rose Festival event is the Grand Floral Parade. Meanwhile, the princess representing Metro East was also crowned today.
The 2019 Rose Festival Princess for Metro East is Olivia Keepis.
And that would be Olivia Joy Keepis, a senior at LaSalle Catholic College Preparatory. She's planning to study nursing in college, and her favorite Rose Festival event is the milk carton races.
Every once in a while, it's helpful to visualize the weather forecast, and I think Ann's going to help do that for us right now.
Look at that. Windshield weather.
Yep.
That's what it's made
All
for,
too familiar sight recently.
I know. Unfortunately, we have to deal with, or at least talk about, the potential to see some flurries in the air tomorrow morning. I think this is likely what you'll wake up to. At least some spots will. Not everyone's seeing the light snow flurries. There could be a few icy spots, places that do see a little bit of snow accumulate there. Likely just on the grassy surfaces, but potentially, you know, on some sidewalks, especially in the higher elevations, places like the West Hills, we could see a few icy spots, but most roads will be bare, and we will see improvement to just mainly wet roads by the afternoon. Temperature-wise today, though, we only hit the mid-40s, still running about 10 degrees or so below the average for this time of year. Temperatures tonight not as cold as last night's. That's all thanks to the cloud cover. You'll notice clouds still moving up from the south here. Rain still holding off down to our south, getting a little bit closer towards the Salem area now. But this is the system that's going to move in as we head through the overnight hours tonight. Current temperatures, though, west of the Cascades, right at 36 there in Portland. Low 40s there along the coastline. And then we're still in the 20s east of the Cascades, much colder out into eastern and central Oregon tonight, 19 right now in Bend. So here's a wider view of the satellite picture. You'll notice all of the cloud cover kind of moving up to the north throughout the day today. You'll notice rain down to our south. We're kind of on the edge of this storm system, so it's going to send a little bit of moisture our way, but the stronger precip is going to stay well to our south as we go into tonight and into the start of the day tomorrow. So here's what it looks like. One model's indication of tomorrow's forecast here. This around 8 o'clock tonight. Notice we're still dry, maybe a few snow showers out towards the Cascades, but then by tomorrow morning, and that's when we'll see the rain and potentially some snow across the area to start off the day. This around 7 a.m. Notice temperatures in Portland just above that freezing mark as we start off the day tomorrow morning. So we'll likely see some flurries in the air, and then temperatures climb throughout the afternoon. You'll notice some steadier precip starts to move in as we go through the early afternoon hours. So we'll see some flurries, but it won't stick to the ground tomorrow afternoon. And then most of that pushes off to the east by tomorrow night, so no problems for the commute home from work or school for your Wednesday. Temperatures back to the mid-30s tomorrow evening, and then as we head into Thursday morning, we could see more mixed showers as we start off the day on Thursday, and then by Thursday afternoon, temperatures start to climb back up to the low 40s. So here's what it looks like for tomorrow out along the coastline. We'll keep temperatures back into the mid and upper 40s. Showers and sun breaks. Winds will be out of the southwest tomorrow. For the Willamette Valley, we're back to the upper 30s, so another cold day. A few snow showers to start off the day, and then I think we'll see some flurries linger through the afternoon. 38 tomorrow in McMinnville. Out towards the gorge, looking at light snow for us as we go into your Wednesday. Temperatures for everyone here hovering right around that freezing mark. Up towards Mount Hood, more snow showers as well. Looking at snow-covered roadways there across the passes all day long. And then out into eastern Oregon, we'll keep light snow showers in the forecast through the day tomorrow. Temperatures back into the low 40s there in most spots. So here's your 7-day forecast. Again, flurries to potentially maybe half an inch or so tomorrow morning. Then things improve through the afternoon. We're at 42 on Thursday. Mixed showers through the morning hours, especially Thursday and Friday morning. And then we keep it cool through the weekend. Upper 40s there on Saturday. And we're at 50 by Sunday. It looks like it stays dry through the weekend. Rain chances they're back by the first part of next week.
And did you mention snow, the possibility of snow?
I think I did.
Yeah, you did. And when it comes to that, we have you covered, folks. If there's a chance of a school closure, anything you need to know, Good Day Oregon has you covered in the morning. The GDO crew will be here early, starting tomorrow at 4 a.m. So tune in to Fox 12 Oregon tomorrow morning for the very latest.
Coming up next on the 6 o'clock news, a Florida couple is thanking their pet cat for saving their lives.
Yeah, what the feline did to alert them as toxic fumes spread out of their house.
And a reminder that we have a YouTube channel. You can watch all of our local stories and get weather updates anytime. Just subscribe at youtube.com/Fox12.